Yeah, so the other day I had to do something for work. So basically, they provided me with a list of numbers, call it list one, and then I've got another list of numbers, call it list two. And yeah, the task was to come up with another list containing numbers that do exist in list one but do not exist in list two. So that will create a third list, let's call it list 3, containing the numbers 1 and 9, because obviously 1 and 9 exist in list 1 but do not exist in list 2. So of note is list 1 and list 2 contain a lot of entries. This is an old problem, I know, and you can probably do it in Excel, or there'll be a tool or something. But I'm currently doing a course that utilizes Python to process data and do data analytics stuff. So I thought, why not just write a quick Python script to do that? So I did. Okay, so before you go ahead and berate me, um, yeah, I deliberately wrote this code without importing the Pandas module. So no data frames, no nothing. And that's the point. I want to highlight eventually how much faster it is with the data frame than using this inefficient code. For now though, pretend it's 1995 and I'm really proud to have solved this problem. Let's just walk through it quickly. So here we've got our two lists, list 1 and list 2, as CSV files. I've opened list 2 and I've passed it to this function load CSV to list, which just returns me a list with the account numbers in it. Great. So to reiterate, we're calling this function load CSV to list, but passing list2.csv to that function. And all load CSV to list does is load the CSV file, skip the header, and then return a list of integers from the first column, essentially. So eventually I'm going to write to a text file in list 1 but not in list 2. So you can think of that as list 3 in my overview of the problem. So now what we're going to do is we're going to open list1.csv and we're going to go ahead and up front convert every entry in there to an integer and save it as list1 numbers. It's just so we don't have to do that conversion every single time, do that up front. And we're going to iterate through that one by one. So just think of us for now as iterating through the integer entries in list1.csv, kind of. And for every number we come across in that list, we're going to say, hey, are you in account numbers, where account numbers is essentially our list2.csv. Okay, if you're not, just write it to our file in list1, not in 2. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Actually, I think this line here, I think this variable is redundant. Let's delete that. And yeah, closing comments. I wanted some kind of a progress indicator. So rather than print out every single line, I'll just say we've processed X amount of records every 500 records. So we've got a rough idea where we're at. Let's run this and see what happens. Yeah, I've just discovered Anaconda, it's great. I'll probably do another video on that. Okay, let's run that script. So it's processed 500 records already, 1,000. Yeah, and as it's going through list 1, it's saying, hey, I'm finding numbers that are in list 1 that are not in list 2. It's processed 2,000 already. But that's great, but don't forget there are, I think, over 997,000 records in list 1, which is what we're currently iterating through. I mean, not bad, but yeah, you kind of get the idea. If we've been sat here for 2 minutes now and processed 5,000 records, then yeah, you're going to have to sit here listening to me for approximately 6 hours 38 minutes, which nobody wants. Okay, so let's stop that. Let's take a quick look at the output it produced. Looks fine to me. Let's save that for comparison later. Okay, now let's fast forward to 2008. Notably the Pandas library, which introduced Dataframes to the Python community. That was all made by a guy called Wes McKinney, and it's fundamental for data analysis in Python. Okay, so let's get back to our sad little example. I think by now we're clear on what the problem is and how long it will take to solve that problem over 6 hours. The code we're looking at now does exactly the same thing as what we just looked at, except we're using Dataframes imported from the Panda library. Just let me tidy that up a bit. Something like that. So we use this Pandas library, PD, and we read from the CSV to create our data frame. Okay, so essentially we've got data frames for list 1 and list 2. Now data frames are extremely powerful, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. Oh, let me rename this. Okay, so this one-liner here does the business. List 1 data frame account, or ACK, selects the account column from the list 1 data frame. Okay, there is only one column in this particular case, but if there were multiple columns, you could just select that particular column by providing the header. Okay, so this bit, the is in list 2 data frame account, or ACK, checks if each value in the ACK column of the list 1 data frame is present in the ACK column of the list 2 data frame. So it's very, very powerful. And this returns a bunch of Boolean values, or a series of Boolean values. So yes, no, depending upon if the account number in list 1 is also in list 2. I think this squiggly line, the official name for it is a bitwise NOT operator. And what that's going to do is invert the Boolean series I just talked about. So, true becomes false and vice versa. So what we're left with, or what's returned to us, is this guy not in list 2, which is a data frame that contains the rows from the list 1 data frame where the ACK or account value is not present in the list 2 data frame. Okay, lots going on in one line, hey? But anyway, the job this script is doing is exactly the same as the previous script. So let's run this one and see how long it takes. Oh yeah, just before I do that, it's going to save the output to Panda's data frame list1 not list2.csv. Okay. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh. Okay, try again. Go. Remember, this is in real time. Okay, we're done. Let's look at the outputs. So there you go, there's, let's say, 757 records. Remember, the first one's the header, that are in list 1 and not in list 2. And if we compare that with the previous output, which is incomplete because we couldn't be bothered to wait for the full 6 hours. So this is the previous one. Look, let's look at the first, say, 5 numbers. The fifth one ends in 107. The first one starts with 675. Make a mental note of those. Yeah, it looks about the same, doesn't it? 675986809. Yeah, it looks about the same to me. It is the same. And anyway, from previous runs, I know the two outputs are identical. So to summarize, a few things. 6 hours 38 versus a few seconds. Data frames, definitely the way to go. On data frames, I've just scraped the surface in this video. Generally, data analytics, use data frames.